What are you and your family watching? Horizon TV, your premier Islamic TV station, bringing you the best in dawah, edutainment, inspiration, and more. Tune in now across Kenya as a free-to-air channel and on your preferred set-top box. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ikiwa ni tarehe 10 ya mwezi wa Safa mwaka 1441 sawia na tarehe 9 mwezi Oktoba mwaka 2019. Karibu katika Sabah Show, uchambuzi wa magazeti. Tumeweza kumaliza sasa ni business chat tukipeperusha katikati mwa jiji la Nairobi katika msikiti wa Jamia. Jina langu ni Ibtisam Jamal. Hii leo tunaangazia masuala ya kwa nini Wakenya wengi wanaacha kuajiriwa na kujiajiri wenyewe. Na ili kuweza kufanikisha kipindi hiki siko peke yangu, niko na Pauline Warui. Welcome from CEO from East Africa Customer Care Limited. Karibu sana, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And then we have Timothy Mwangi, co-founder of Amitrak. Timothy, karibu sana.
Asante.
You're all good?
Yes.
Okay, let's start. According to the World Bank, it says here many people work in formal sector out of necessity, not a choice. And then here the fact that jobs are becoming more scarce and scarce and scarce. That's why Deloitte Millennium Survey 2018 says that studies showed that 43% of Kenyans and youth worldwide even, they plan to quit their jobs within 2 years. And 28% of this group plans to stay in their current role for more than 5 years. So you've both been employed. Pauline, how was your experience?
I think for us, first and foremost, coming from another generation, is that we went to school to be employed. That's what we knew. That's what our parents did. And that is exactly how we also took it up. So when we went to school, you were told go to university, get a good job, and get a good life.
It's like a syllabus. You have to
yes, yes. So we followed that, and then we became employed. Being employed obviously was good. You compete with the market the way it is. You look for a good job. And so I went through the career ladder, and I was happy to get up to where I got as a director. So that was fairly good. But like everything else, employment comes to an end, either by way of being retrenched, or at some point you have to make a decision and say, from where I'm sitting, I need to progress. I need to do something. And then you come to the realization also that you are the one who is actually also feeding your employer. So how can you use your talent to be able to build something for yourself?
We'll come to that, inshallah. Timothy, how was your experience while being employed?
I actually enjoyed being employed. I was in the US. I worked in Silicon Valley with the likes of Oracle. But I realized that I could put my talents to better use here just because the kind of problems we have in Kenya and the return for a solution is a little bit higher than what I had when I was outside.
Okay. Pauline, you said that there's maybe retrenchment, or maybe kuna watu wengine wanasema I'm so good, I think I can do it on my own, or some people say like it's a wake-up call, I have to do something for myself. So what prompted you to open your own business?
For me, actually, it was after I had done my service wherever I was working, and my job came to an end abruptly. And I sat back and I asked myself, do I go back to the job market, or do I actually use my talent to be able to grow what I'd already done for so many years? And given that choice, trying to get a job, not getting a job, I actually set up shop and I said, let me believe in myself. I've done this for all these years. I think I can do it now.
Wow, that's amazing. Timothy, you had a very good job. You were comfortable.
Yes.
So what prompted you? What made you just move out and start your own business?
So I think so long as you are employed and working for somebody else, there are certain limits in terms of how much control you have over your time and also what you can achieve. Even if you have a great job at a great company, there's always a ceiling if you're employed. And I feel like venturing out on my own sort of allowed me to get past that ceiling by creating something that was of value, and it also allowed me to focus in an area and on a problem that I actually care about. And you know, that was very rewarding, very fulfilling, and I think that was what drove me to try and venture out on my own.
Nice.
Yeah.
Statistics also shows that so many women are leading the migration out of formal sector to informal sector. They are leading. As a woman, Pauline, what do you think drives a woman to move out and open their own business, even if it's a small business? What gives them that confidence?
One, I'll say because we are able to juggle a lot in terms of even how you grow up as a woman. Culturally, you do a lot of things. And then you may realize, here, I'm able to make my own mandazis and sell. I can cook, I can wash clothes, I can do something. And from there, you can actually grow a business. The other thing also culturally is our setting. That, you know, we believe, you know, the man should still provide. So he stays within the confines of where there is no risk that he can bring the bread home. But the woman can go home, get children, and then you can start something small that actually now grows into a bigger business. So I think there's a lot of that being informed, you know, informing us into that, because absolutely, if you have somebody, you have security, you can be able to take the risk, because really getting out is more about the risk. Yeah.
So women are also good at multitasking.
Yes.
Does it help?
Yes, because you can do so many things at the same time. In fact, if you look at it, despite people going for formal employment, I believe a lot of women at the back end are still doing some other informal businesses. That's why when you are still in formal employment, you find somebody is having a cab, you know, the boot sale. Selling handbags, selling shoes in the office, selling mandazi, samosa. Someone is still doing something to supplement their income. And then, of course, need. A lot of single parents. So there is that need to actually provide more from a female perspective. So that could also be a driver.
Timothy, do you agree that so many women are leading in this migration because they culturally they can do so many things at once, they are willing to take a risk? Why is that so many men are not willing to do that?
I think I agree with Pauline, because there is this idea that as a man you need to be the one providing for your family and you want a stable income. And I think a lot of people assume that formal employment is secure. Now, I don't think that's necessarily true, but that's how people think. Whereas maybe the woman is able to venture out and start something on the side that then grows into a bigger business, just like she was saying. So I think that's true. And I think also as the new generation comes up, I think people are also beginning to question whether formal employment as we've known it is necessarily the best route to take.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Pauline, how was your experience while opening your own business? How was it?
I'll tell you, I did not know exactly what I was doing. And this is what, unfortunately, entrepreneurs never talk about. Like, you really don't know. If you've been in formal employment for 20 years, you honestly do not even know where to go register a company, because you have been in this structured company where everything was running smoothly.
Like in a box.
Yeah, in a box. And I always laugh when I see people referring to me as the person I was when I was in employment, because in the last 3 years, I think I've learned so much more than what I was when I was in formal employment. You have to learn where to register a business, what licenses are required to run a business, everything about the location of where your business should be, the ideas, the marketing. You become the whole business itself. You run the show. To some extent, one day you become the cleaner, tomorrow you're the CEO, the next time you're the sales lady. So you really put together. So it was really difficult, but by and by, you keep learning. Every day is a learning experience. You don't stop learning.
So how hard was it?
It was very difficult. Number one, because I was not sure about what I wanted to do. I knew the general line I wanted to be in. But number one, I didn't know which customer to go to. Why? When you leave for more employment, it's very hard to drop that cap that you're carrying about who you are and who you have been. And to come down now to the level of the small business that you're starting, to realize where you need to start from. So that switch, it's very difficult for most people, and that is what determines whether you succeed or not succeed. The other thing was understanding the requirements of the business. What do I need? What licenses should I have? Who should I hire? What capital should I invest, and where is this capital coming from? So all these components put together made it very difficult.
Timothy, how was your experience? Because you were in US, now coming back home to start your own business. How was your experience?
So the transition was a bit difficult, but Army Truck was an idea that I was very passionate about. I think I saw a problem in Kenya that we could solve, and that we could make a big difference for people in terms of helping them get better service. That having been said, passion notwithstanding, it is difficult to move to a new country, and setting up a new business requires a lot of different talents. It also requires a lot of perseverance. There's this initial assumption that I'll build my business and the customers will come and
it will thrive,
and it's all gonna be easy. In reality, the first week when you open your doors, and for us who are trying to register drivers, truck owners, you get radio silence. The business is open, but you're not getting as many customers as you were expecting, and you have to continue believing. You have to keep going out there to tell people that you have a great product, that you have something to offer. The other thing I found is that with a new business, especially on the technology side, people tend to be set in their ways. So again, coming back to Army Truck in particular, we help clients get transport. And if somebody is used to going to the side of the road to hail down a pickup, or they're used to calling their neighbor to say, I need a vehicle.
Unapiga simu. Looking for transport, call this number.
Yes. Now this idea that I can go onto an app or onto a website and get my goods delivered is something new, and it takes people a while to accept it. It takes people a while to actually start coming to you, and for you to actually start seeing those sales. So it requires you to really believe in yourself and to keep going, even when things aren't working out exactly as you had hoped. Yeah.
Okay, Pauline, there are so many challenges I'm so sure you faced. I'm so sure one of them is that the community will tell you, no, you won't succeed, you will fail. Now this business, no, doesn't have customers. What are the challenges that you faced while opening your business? That looking back, you say, oh, much better.
Yes, of course the naysayers are very many. Most people tell you, you've just been in corporate world, go back. And for a moment you sit back and you're like, yes, I'm actually looking for a job. I'll tell you, at the beginning I was juggling between looking for a job, and then I realized these jobs are not forthcoming. To get a job my level was almost impossible. So I had to sit there and listen to all these people who are telling me no. The other thing I had, like he said, was I had hope in friends and my network. I thought they would come through for me. But as you know, in this country, once you leave the top office,
then
the phone dies. So naturally, even that happened for me. And you call people and you tell them, I have set up this small shop. And the first thing, like, common to the youth, we tell them, do you have experience? And for me, they would ask me, how old is your company? And I would say it's 2 months. And they'll say that does not even qualify for our profile, for the company we are looking for. In the meantime, I'm saying I have over 20 years experience. I am the one. So putting yourself and your experience in the business was quite very difficult. So that was also another area. And then a lot of other people who are supposed to help you now have already dismissed you. You're a gone case. And by you find out that it is actually strangers who come through for you. Somebody who had heard about you, has heard about the idea that you have. For us, we train in customer service. We actually set up contact centers, like a call center, head-to-head, technology, the people. So bringing this holistic solution was also an issue. The other one was people believing, like I do customer service, and it's actually customer service week. This is customer service week. To actually convince businesses that they have bad customer service and they need to do something about it. They look at you and tell you, but you are making money. It's not a priority in this country to have good service. So here you're trying to tell them, actually good service brings the revenues. Revenues is an end result. For people to believe in that, it was very, very difficult.
Timothy will come to you after the break. Na mtazamaji, kumbuka unaweza kuchangia katika madai kupitia mitandao yetu ya kijamii @Horizontv Kenya, Instagram, Twitter au Facebook, au panaweza kupiga simu au kutuma ujumbe ufupi kwa nambari zilioko katika runinga yako. Tupate pumziko fupi, tarejea baada ya muda usiokuwa mrefu. Usiende mbali. Assalamu alaikum. Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Akawa Abdul Muttalib ampenda sana Mtume sallam hata kushinda watoto wake. Na Abdul Muttalib, Mtume Muhammad sallam alikuwa ni mjukuu wake. Abu Talib na babake Mtume sallam dimba ndugu, tumbo moja, mama moja, baba moja. Baada ya miaka miwili Abdul Muttalib kufa, alipofika miaka 10 wakaamua kufunga safari kwenda Sham, kwenda kufanya biashara. Faqala rahib, huyu mtoto akifika akionekana dola ya Rum watamuua. Akaamua kurudi kuweza kuishi katika mji wa Makka kwa mara nyingine.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Karibu katika awamu yetu ya pili ya Business Chat. Mada yetu ya leo ni kwa nini Wakenya wengi wanaamua kuondoka kuajiriwa na kujiajiri wenyewe na kufungua biashara. Kumbuka unaweza kuchangia katika mada hii yetu kupitia mitandao yetu ya kijamii @Horizontv Kenya, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, au unaweza kupiga simu kupitia nambari zetu zilizoko katika runinga yako, ama hata unaweza kutuma ujumbe mfupi na tutaweza kuisoma katika kipindi chetu cha leo. Timothy, I was with you. How was your experience? What were the challenges, that you faced while opening your business?
So, I think working in the tech sector, the biggest hurdle for us to cross as a business, as Army Truck, was trying to get people to change how they do business and trying to get them to consider technology as a viable option for getting transport services. And I think other tech businesses face this problem too, where you find that you have an entrenched group of or an entrenched method that people use to get a particular service, and now you're telling them that you can go online and get that service. You can go onto your mobile phone and get that service. So it wasn't easy to get clients, to get customers to consider getting their transport through an app or through a website instead of calling a neighbor or going down by the side of the road and talking to a truck driver. There were other challenges too. There's a lot of administrative and managerial work that comes with starting a business that isn't necessarily part of your core function, but that takes up a lot of time. And that was a bit of a challenge. And then there's also when you finally open the doors and you're waiting for clients to come, and the customers don't come as quickly as you were hoping they would, and you have to persevere for a little bit. It's also a very expensive process, and that's another hurdle that you have to go through. Yeah.
Pauline, you've talked about so many challenges that you've faced, many like friends not being there, now strangers coming in. At any given point, did you say that I am giving up, I am done with this, maybe it's a wrong decision? Did you ever felt like giving up at any given point?
Let me tell you, when you're an entrepreneur and you're doing business, you give up every day. There are times, you come from formal employment, you're used to a salary, 30th, all you do is you go put your ATM. I'll tell you, when you start a business, chances of seeing a single check in the first year are very, very slim. So suddenly you are this person who is trying to put your life together, and then you get maybe a small job offer somewhere and you're thinking, maybe I can downgrade and just forget about this and go back to the comfort of employment. There are days you have been waiting for this big job, it's almost coming through, and then suddenly you get this phone call, no, we decided to give it to somebody else.
So it's like a bubble has
Yes,
burst.
it bursts. And you're sitting there and you have employees and you're thinking, what next? Where am I getting my next rent? Where am I getting my next pay? Am I making my next payroll? So all these challenges sometimes make you think, I think I need to go back to employment. But then suddenly you keep quiet and you sit back and you say, I must do this, because at no point will I ever build an empire under somebody else. I have a vision and nothing comes easy. I always look at that, Coca-Cola sold so many bottles in the first year, and I'm like, let me keep going.
So that pushed you?
Yes, that keeps pushing me every day.
That's your motivation?
Yes.
Timothy, she talks about giving up in one way or the other, but she is motivated in a certain way. So did you ever give up or felt like giving up and saying enough is enough, I'm going back to being employed?
Now, so far, I haven't reached that point, and I hope I don't. But maybe, there are a few valleys coming up, and I'll go through that experience. But what I experienced more immediately was frustration. You're trying something, it's not working the way you thought it should work. And you keep trying and you're frustrated. And at some point, maybe you wonder, is this really going to work? How long is it going to take for this to actually take off? You know, am I going in the right direction? Do I actually have a viable business? So you do get thoughts like those, and you do question whether the idea you have and the value you thought you were bringing to your clients is actually as good as you thought. I think I've gone beyond that point, and as a company we've sort of gone beyond that point, because now we do have steady revenue, but it's definitely something that you go through as an entrepreneur.
So what motivates you every day?
I feel quite passionate about the problem that we are solving as a company. Specifically what we found in the transport sector locally in Kenya was that there wasn't a lot of price transparency, and there were a lot of middlemen, which made transport expensive, and it meant that drivers oftentimes didn't get paid for the work they had done. And just by connecting the two and getting out of the way, because we let drivers quote for work, and the client either accepts or doesn't, we improve the welfare of the drivers. We enable clients to get cheaper transport, which is then helpful in terms of allowing the economy to run more smoothly. So it's a problem I'm passionate about, and I definitely see something of value that we're providing to our clients and to our drivers, and that keeps me going.
Pauline, you've been employed for 20 years, and now you have your own job. So what's the difference between formal and informal sector? What's the difference?
I think for me, number one, when you come to formal, is that you have a set way of moving on with your life. Every month, work is arranged for you, or even though you're doing strategy, you know where the company is going. The vision is not yours. You carry somebody's vision. In your own organization, you carry your vision. So every day I have to wake up and say, how do I change the way customer service is offered in this country? Now it is my responsibility. Formal employment, you have a salary, risks are very few. Here you are the bearer of the risks, and you have to really think through when you are actually doing what it is that you are doing. The other thing is that the satisfaction that comes with your own self-employment is that every time I handle a client, I look at their business processes, I look at their trainings, and I train their people on customer experience or brand and reputation management. When I walk out and that customer is happy, nothing gives me more fulfillment than that. I no longer think about paychecks. I no longer think about that. I have this, like you talked about, passion to change the way businesses handle their customers, the rights of the customers, how can we improve? And then also, I now see more. I have learned so much. I am in different industries. Before, I was in the telecommunication industry. That's all I knew. Today, even though you bring me here, I'm able to quickly look at the way service is being offered. I can move into hospitality. I can move into energy, and I've been there. I have been in BPOs. I have seen how they are running their contact centers. So I can quickly be able to think through so many things within a given time. I am the driver of my dream. That for me is the difference between being employed and not being employed. I drive my dream, and I'm passionate about it.
She drives her dream. What's the difference between informal and formal sector? What's the difference?
Just to echo some of the things that Pauline said, I think one of the biggest differences is that, if you're employed at a company that's doing reasonably well, that's profitable, you have that safety, that continuity. You know what to expect next month. You probably have a narrowly defined role that you do quite well for the company, but without too many new things coming up outside your specific area of expertise. Now, for a new venture, you face many new problems that you didn't expect and that you need to solve. Your employees look up to you for a vision, and you are the one who drives the company and what you're trying to achieve. And it's really up to you to pay the bills. It's up to you to have a strategy that works for the company to be successful and for you to provide the value that you're looking to provide for your clients. So in one case, you have a very well-defined, almost repetitive function that you perform every month. In another case, you have new problems coming up every day, every week, and you have to solve them in order to achieve the goal that you've set for yourself.
Okay, thank you, Timothy. Pauline, is the government doing enough in supporting informal sector?
I think there is, well, I can see that the government has set up the structures and the standards. However, there's massive opportunity. I'll give you an example. I do contact centers. When I look at my dream would be that we can become the next India or the next Philippines when it comes to contact centers, business process outsourcing. Today, if you call one of the international banks, your call is answered somewhere in India. Why can't it be Kenya? What can we do? We are talking about youth and employment. If, for some of us with this knowledge, all we need is facilitation in terms of maybe premises, the capital, to be able to actually make this the next haven of contact centers. We don't have to put our calls through to India. We don't have to take them to the Philippines. We have a good network in terms of the infrastructure is laid out even by the private companies. You have good Wi-Fi. We have educated Kenyans, young Kenyans. We have good accents. So really, when it comes to just putting this together, if the government could put platforms for this kind of youth employment, there's so much more we can do as a country on condition that we do it and we do it well in a manner that has integrity so that we spend less and stop talking about, I don't believe that would even be a billion project to actually even employ more than 10,000 youth. If we can actually be able to tap into these big international companies to give us their work to do it from here.
Timothy, do you think the government is doing enough in supporting informal sector?
I think they could do more. So one of the areas where I've seen an issue, especially on the technology side, because I feel like the future is technical, is in technology. And I feel like some of the laws and the business processes that we have in the country don't lend themselves very well to technology. I'll give you an example. The first time we tried to get insurance on our platform, we wanted to be able to insure goods that are being transported by somebody else and that we don't own. And it was very difficult to convince an insurer or working with the current regulation that we have a vested interest in these goods being transported and we should be able to insure them. Even with things like VAT, if I'm just connecting a client to a driver, am I really a transporter and should I be paying VAT? So I think it would be helpful for the laws to take into account technology and new ways of doing businesses. And I also think it would be helpful if the government started to invest in incubators and in new technology, because a lot of the new companies that we have end up getting help from outside, and those that aren't able to get help from outside are left without the funding they need. And these are the companies that are going to grow and provide employment for Kenyans in the future.
Okay, sawa. Na mtazamaji, tupate pumziko fupi, tarejea baada muda usiokuwa mrefu. Kipindi ni Business Chat. Assalamu alaikum. Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Thursday is not just about diseases. It's about food, lifestyle, milestones in the medical practitioner's field, especially in our Muslim Ummah, and more so, your health. Discover breakthroughs and milestones in the medical field. Learn how to manage diseases.
That was not painful.
Join the discussion. Make better decisions on your meal plans. Improve your lifestyle.
All the doctors who are there were tired of working in maternity and taking care of women. And they say, you are the new kid on the block. We are leaving this department to you.
Healthy Thursday is about you, about your family, your lifestyle. So keep it locked Horizon TV on Healthy Thursday with me, Mariam Mwacharo.
Assalamu alaikum. Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Karibu katika Business Chat awamu yetu ya tatu na ya mwisho. Katika awamu yetu ya kwanza na ya pili tumeweza kuzungumzia changamoto ambazo wafanyabiashara wanapitia wanapoamua kuanzisha biashara zao, na ni nini iliyowapa motisha kuendelea. Natumai umeweza kufaidika hadi hapo, lakini sasa tutaweza kuendelea. Pauline, how is the informal sector contributing to our economy?
I believe it's contributing a lot because not everyone can be employed. Yeah?
True.
And some of the jobs, the informal jobs, have to be done. People have to do some work in terms of, we can't all fit in the white collar jobs. Some of us have to do other jobs that needs to be done. The other thing is that when you look at the informal sector in this country, I believe we can do better in terms of contribution. Our companies are just within Kenya. And then we have this belief that informal sector can only work within Kenya. Small businesses, not even SME, smaller than the SME, the micro SME, is what we are really looking at as part of the informal sector. I think even from a government perspective, for further contribution, how do we help these businesses, like my friend here, that he actually goes beyond borders? Because today, borders are just borders, but you can actually take your business to Uganda. I think I have gone to Uganda, I have seen how it works. How can you then make sure that the informal sector, where it's where we can do much more, we can actually be able to go beyond borders, make our businesses big, and stop thinking inwards and start thinking outwards. For me, that is how I would look at the informal sector growing. And the other thing is education system. I know you've gone into CBC. Well, before we realize the fruit, it will be very many years. But how do we make sure that people understand being self-employed is not a cue for failure? It should actually be more encouraged because we can't all fit in. How do we balance this? How do we make people believe this is where it is all happening? That would be my take.
Timothy, is informal sector contributing enough to our economy?
I think it is, and I think one of the things people forget about the informal sector is that it's the formal sector of tomorrow. So if you look at any of these large businesses, you know, whether it's Kenya Breweries or Coca-Cola that we are talking about, if you read their history, you'll find somebody in a garage somewhere who decided that they can make a beer and sell. You'll find somebody who decided that they can make a soda from their kitchen and sell it. And that grew and became the Coca-Cola or Kenya Breweries or whatever other large company that we see today. So I think it contributes immensely, and we need the informal sector today because that's where the jobs and the employment are going to come from tomorrow.
So should the government invest enough in the informal sector?
They should invest a lot. They should invest a lot. I've actually seen, especially on the technology side, I've seen some countries like Rwanda, I think Senegal did this too, where the government actually has a fund to support new technology companies, and I think it's really useful, because otherwise you end up in this situation where every large company that is employing people in the country is really a foreign company, and that's not a good situation to be in. So I think the government needs to invest in the informal sector, encourage people who are trying to do startups in technology, and that way we'll have more jobs for people tomorrow.
Pauline, is it because informal sector is contributing enough to our economy and helping lives of so many Kenyans, so should the government invest more in the informal sector?
Yes, definitely the government has a lot to do in terms of increasing that. And like he says, the informal sector is the formal sector of tomorrow. So how do you make sure that you actually add value in terms of who gets in there, the kind of technology we use, the education around business? Today I'll tell you, we go into business with no formal education or no place to go where you are taught about taxation in this country. You could be employed for 100 years, but you don't exactly know how even an SME operates, where you are supposed to go do your, returns. This information, yes, the organization concerned will be doing the education, but there's so much more that you can even learn in a classroom. Let us prepare the people who are coming into the job market for the informal sector, so that they can actually be able to bring up new businesses according to new needs, instead of just doing the same kind of education that I did. It's the same kind of education that my son is doing, the theory part. Let us work with TVET more. How can we make sure that people are learning more skills? Today, if you want a good plumber, show me where you'll get one.
It's very hard to find.
It's very hard to find. But that means today, if you start a company where you're actually supplying and training your own plumbers and giving them to the market, there's so much opportunity around that. And I said before, let us not make this job to look dirty. These are the real jobs of the future. Tomorrow, you want to get a good carpenter. Let us also have the government market our product. When I pass through Dagoretti and I look at all those nice beds, the nice chairs that are made there, we go to Amazon to buy something called handmade. Isn't that handmade? Shouldn't we be exporting handmade to the other countries at a better rate? How can we facilitate so that we have a balanced out trade instead of actually giving? We are only receiving and picking from others, while our own product we look down upon. This is beautiful. How do we put policies in place so that today the kiondo is not trademarked in Japan, it is actually trademarked in Kenya? So how do we make this and put in infrastructures in place to ensure and a good framework that our products in the informal sector are actually marketed at a premium rate?
There's a question which came in. It says here that is our syllabus system, the 844, contributing to people want to be employed after they finish the university? Question for both of you.
I think I had highlighted that, and I was not even in the 844, I was even in the older one, which was even worse. And I always say, when I was in university, I remember doing a paper and all I was learning about was Karl Marx. And I remember being failed because I had put Karl Marx and there was a word superstructures and I had put a hyphen between the word superstructure. And it still haunts me up to today to actually think, how does that apply in my life? If they showed me how to knit, perhaps I would be owning the biggest knitting company this side of southern, Africa, this side of Africa, the eastern part of Africa. Let us teach our children skills. Let us have new things that can actually make a difference. Today, technology is where we are. He talked about incubation. I have seen very young people winning awards globally from Kenya. But immediately after that, I can tell you they are sitting somewhere. I know one sitting somewhere in Ruaka trying to develop. But, you know, so many products being developed. But how do we market them from a global perspective?
Well, that's a big question.
Yes.
Timothy, we've seen informal sector contributing to the economy. How is it changing the lives of Kenyans?
I think it's having a very big impact. And obviously I'm biased and I like to use army truck as an example. But I look at what we are doing for our clients and our drivers. Previously, it was quite difficult for a client to know whether the transport they are getting is well priced. But if you use Army Truck, when you request for transportation services, and this is sent out to 500, 1,000 drivers who can do the job for you, and you get quotes from them, you are able to tell that you're getting the best price when you pick the best quote. Because we facilitate payments, it also means that the driver knows when they go to do a job that they're actually going to get paid for it. And so even without changing how business is done, but just facilitating it, you create an environment where it's easier to do business, where there is more transparency, and ultimately an environment where business growth is easier. So I think the informal sector is having a huge impact on the economy.
Okay, Pauline, most Kenyans, when they are through with their studies, they want a good job with a good payment plan. They're not willing to take a risk and start their own work or their own business. Why is that, and what should they consider?
I think, like I said, number one is that's a good desire because it's risk-free. You're employed, you have your salary, it's comfortable. But we can't all fit there, I said so. There is so much opportunity out there. Number one, if you have talent, nurture it. Two, nothing comes easy. Self-employment, doing your own thing is tough. You sacrifice at the beginning, but the rewards come later. So you can choose, I can say being employed is like a straight line. You progress slowly, but with self-employment, you can actually build something that even goes beyond you. There is massive opportunity. Three, stick to your lane is one thing I say. I do contact centers, I do customer experience, that's my thing. Tomorrow, if you start telling me to go and sell Kiondo, I will fail. Why? Because I am not the expert in that area, not unless I'm just an investor. So I believe do what you're passionate about, and if you do it well and you do it consistently, you're bound to succeed.
Timothy, tukimalizia, what would you tell a Kenyan out there who wants to open their business and is still scared?
I think I would encourage them. I would tell them to prepare well. I think that you do need to save up some money. I think it's probably a good idea to test your business idea before you leave formal employment. But then I would say go for it. I think that we need more entrepreneurs in Kenya.
Thank you so much, Timothy. Thank you so much, Pauline. It's a very educative, even educated myself right now. Thank you so much. Na mtazamaji, sina budi ila kukunja jambo langu la business chat. Kumbuka tutakutana tena juma lijalo. Kumbuka hapo kesho utangana na Mariam Wacharo na Healthy Thursday. Jina langu ni Ibtisam Jamal. Assalamu alaikum. Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.